My name is Olufumi, and with me I have Alice and Sheneka. We are Team ACE, presenting a case report on navigating supply chain disruptions at MapleTech Incorporation. Starting with the executive summary, since the beginning of COVID-19, Canadian businesses experienced supply chain disruptions, including MapleTech Incorporation, and this was worsened by the 2022 Ukraine conflict. The issues include maintaining inventory, acquiring domestic and international supplies, and impacting business continuity. Now, this report was stated in the Statistics Canada, where 10% of businesses confirmed that maintaining inventory level was expected to be a challenge. Also, 20.7% of businesses maintained that acquiring inputs, products, or supply domestically was going to be a supply chain issue for them. And finally, 9.4% of businesses mentioned that difficulty acquiring inputs, products, or supplies from abroad constitutes the supply chain issues. Speaking to MapleTech Incorporation, MapleTech Incorporation is a leading Canadian electronic that manufactured advanced home automation systems, including smart thermostats, security cameras, and lighting control system. Now, this company sources their components globally, and as well their key components from Taiwan. Taiwan is a country that's specialized in high-tech electronics and as well quality semiconductor chips and other information and communication technology. In order to mitigate the supply chain risk of MapleTech, so we are focusing our case on a detailed analysis of the current supply chain issues of MapleTech Incorporation. We also look at to mitigate the risk and enhance supply chain efficiency with AI-driven forecasting solution. We're also presenting an implementation plan with timelines, demonstrating a financial analysis of the proposed solution, and as well conduct a SWOT and PESTEL analysis of the business environment of MapleTech Incorporation, which is the internal and the external environment. Speaking to the problems and challenges of MapleTech, to start with, prior to COVID-19, supply chain professionals were not so recognized at the board level because they were not seen, despite their contribution, despite their efforts in the success of the organization. But until COVID-19, until the pandemic, where businesses started experiencing disruptions in their operations, then the profession became very necessary and everybody needed to hear their opinion. And this also this brought about a shift in focus from cost reduction to business continuity. Businesses that used to focus on reducing costs started looking at beyond the cost reduction. How do we ensure that we have our goods available, we have our materials available to ensure continuity of business, and also inventory strategy change. Before now, the Toyota lean system was operational. Everybody wanted to do just in time, but the COVID-19 exposed the limitations of the just in time strategy, and there was a shift in inventory strategy. And now, looking at the challenges that MapleTech Incorporation experienced also during the pandemic, there was pandemic disruption, geopolitical tensions, and extreme weather. And this was reported that their major supplier or their supplier of the major components could not make shipments because of weather conditions. Also, which affected their demand. There was also an issue with their demand forecasting because of rise products demand and pressure to adopt to sustainable practices. Now, how does this affect the business? It poses a big risk to business continuity because failure to meet customers' demand also means that you can't supply, and you lose your customers. In the process of losing customers, you also lose your business and you lose profit. The business environment. We looked at the business environment of MapleTech Incorporation, and we used the SWOT analysis to look at the internal environment and the PESTEL to look at the external environment. So for the SWOT analysis, we're able to identify the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and threats. One interesting thing about the SWOT analysis for MapleTech Incorporation is that they have great opportunities, by by integrating technology to be able to forecast better. They can also diversify their supply base. It's an opportunity for them to diversify their supply base to reduce over reliance on their current supplier. And looking at the PESTEL, political, economic, sociological, technological, environmental, and legal analysis of MapleTech also reveals that MapleTech could experience some challenges, especially with the political aspect, where there's so much tension from the government, and also the tariff that's between US, China, even US and Canada. The tariff is also affecting them, which it affects the business because it will increase the cost of goods. It will result in inflation, which could also affect their final consumers. Despite the challenges of MapleTech incorporation, we also present them alternatives and options that they can consider. First is to diversify supply base. Another option is to look at multiple sourcing strategy, then build strong supplier alliance, and also integrate advanced technology, and finally build up inventory. So these options will also help them to look beyond the current challenges that they have, look beyond having just one, especially the multiple sourcing strategy, which is to look at different other locations where they can source for their components as against just one particular area. And also it will also help them to consider other locations or other countries that don't have issues with tariff, the US tariff that's been imposed, so they could transact with these other suppliers. So I will call on Alice to take us on the strategic recommendations for MapleTech Incorporation.
For our strategic recommendations, as MapleTech's trusted consultants, we emphasize keeping their market position and competitive advantage. However, significant aspects that should be addressed include the rising global challenges. Therefore, a key point to consider is one, supplier diversification. Specifically, because geopolitical tensions and regional disruptions increase, the traditional just-in-time model proves to be insufficient. Therefore, number one, we have nearshoring, or moving production to nearby countries. This can cut costs and improve delivery times, reducing the impact of global supply shortages. Second, we have regional sourcing and partnerships with North American manufacturers. And third, we have multi-shoring, which is spreading operations across multiple regions, as this approach, along with strategic supplier diversification, will reduce risk and strengthen MapleTech's supply chain continuity. Now, in addition, our second key recommendation is leveraging AI, tech, and innovation to optimize MapleTech's supply chain operations and adapt to the current market trends. One, we have AI-driven predictive analytics, which can improve demand forecasting. Second, we have IoT sensors and real-time data. This allows for smarter decision-making, reducing waste, and improving efficiency. Third, we also have ML automation for efficiency and risk management, which streamlines processes and detects risks for delays or geopolitical shifts, minimizing disruptions and cutting costs. Overall, incorporating technology would position MapleTech as an adaptive company ready to take on its growth and success initiatives. Now, with these options in mind, it may be overwhelming for MapleTech to weigh which solution would benefit the company better. But of course, as consultants, we have that covered. Here is our final recommendation, and as you can see in the result, the most optimal solution for them is to diversify supply chains for increased efficiency and resilience. Now I'm passing the floor to Shanika to discuss more about the implementation plans and financial viability.
Thank you, Alice. So now to speak on the implementation and how MapleTech can use these strategies to better help themselves. MapleTech implement these strategies. First of all, they might have a dependency on Taiwan or China and other countries. How they can reduce their dependencies by nearshoring, and they can implement these phases by going through the 4 phases, such as evaluating new suppliers, such as maybe Samsung, or places such as Mexico, which Canada has a free trade agreement with. Identifying and selecting a supplier, so they can select a supplier based on how profitable it will be for them in the future. Selecting Mexico might be profitable as they do have a lower labor market. They can also find out, once they finalize their selection, and draft a contract agreement. They can also implement measures that will protect them from tariffs. And finally, they can monitor and control continuous improvement, such as maybe bringing all of those factories to Canada or limiting their dependency on other offshoring items. Thank you. Now I'll be handing over to speak on the risk.
Now for our risk management, we have two models, but for the first one, I'll be discussing the blockchain approach. MapleTech needs a comprehensive risk management strategy, and the blockchain technology can improve transparency and enable faster, more secure responses to supply chain disruptions. These include 4 steps, such as establishing proper governance, identifying who the critical suppliers are, assessing the risks, and mitigating those risks. This will help MapleTech have an extensive understanding of not only their business operations but also those of their suppliers. Now for our second model, this is the PPRR model, which includes prevention, preparedness, response, and recovery. This will ensure MapleTech can manage risks from all angles, enhancing visibility, cybersecurity, and overall resilience. For example, under prevention, they can identify potential threats and address them before they even become issues. Second, for preparedness, these can include contingency plans to manage emergencies. For the response, this includes executing those plans and mobilizing resources to manage the disruption. And recovery includes restoring supply chain processes and productivity to go back to their full operations.
So let's discuss the financial validity of nearshoring and multishoring. So nearshoring ensures the ability for critical products or for just-in-time operations. It reduces the transportation costs, faster lead time, and increases the economic incentives for North American and Central American countries. An example, of course, is Mexico's offer for duty-free imports for foreign countries such as Canada, provides a cost-effective manufacturing option. Mexico has one of the lower labor costs on the spectrum, along with Vietnam and India. Investment in local manufacturing, such as building microchip factories in Canada possibly, and Mexico will reduce the transportation costs of greenhouse gas emission, because of course there will be no need to buy these goods from China or other Asian countries.
So for our sustainability and social responsibility, with the heightened demand for environmental initiatives, sustainability should remain a priority for MapleTech. Now, by adopting eco-friendly practices, using renewable energy, and minimizing waste, the company can align with government regulations, promote CSR, and attract environmentally conscious consumers. Now, another is to source materials from eco-conscious suppliers and optimizing logistics to reduce the carbon footprint, as this will help MapleTech's green initiatives. Now, another is sustainable partnerships with suppliers that prioritize carbon emissions and waste management to strengthen MapleTech's commitment to environmental sustainability. Another is energy efficient manufacturing and green transportation, which includes a shift to electric delivery fleets and AI optimized routes. This will reduce further emissions and enhance operational sustainability. Lastly, MapleTech can adopt eco-friendly packaging and circular economy. This ensures products are durable, repairable, and recyclable. Overall, these actions not only improve sustainability but also contribute to the long-term supply chain resilience of MapleTech. So now to conclude our presentation, Fumi will deliver us the conclusions of this case report.
Supply chain management involves the flow of materials and information, ensuring efficiency not only for customers but also for the business itself. With that, MapleTech Incorporation should emphasize on the following: effective diversification and coordination, utilizing technological innovations, and incorporating sustainable practices. So this is Team ACE. Thank you for listening.
This is Team ACE, and then all of us three will say thank you.
Aye.